Howdy, all Molex Lives. I think it's time to play a little 7 Days to Die. Alright. Oh, look at this place. Got a little gate keeping me out of his backyard. That's okay, though. We're not interested in your backyard, guy. Alright, we're looking... Oh, we might have to stop at this place, though. We're looking... looks like I've already been in there. I can see the door busted open. We're looking for garages so that I can look for... Why is that place called Doggos? What the heck is a doggo? What's a doggo? I don't get it. What is this place supposed to be? I don't understand. Oh. I thought you were dead. Sorry. Now you're dead. What does this book say? Big hits. Knock the ball out of the park with this technique. Do 10% more damage with clubs. Don't use clubs, but, you know, I like to read the books. I wonder if there's another path around into this room. This place has got, like, thick wire glass. Well, I expected dogs. Is this a animal hospital? I don't... Whoa. Back off. Supplies for my garden. So yeah, I took the weekend off. Also didn't have power last week. One day, so I took a lot of time off recording the last couple of days here. I've been a slacker. It's alright though. See if we can't get back into it now that it's I don't know, holiday week here, right? Yeah, so you definitely come in from the other directions here. Is it a dog pound? Is this a dog kennel? A dog pound? A pet store? It seems weird. I don't know. Yeah, I actually ended up spending the last, well, okay, so I've been playing Horizon Zero Dawn, right? And I spent, oh, it is definitely a dog kennel or a dog hospital. Something along those lines. But so I spent a lot of my weekend just playing Horizon Zero Dawn. I am almost finished. I hadn't played through the DLC before, so the DLC is all new to me. And I basically think I'm finished the main quests for it. And now I'm on the after the main quest. I'm not sure what my helmet is. It's it's an iron helmet. Yeah, I'm not swapping my iron helmet out for a scrap helmet. So spoilers. I'm just gonna go with spoilers. So I love Horizon Zero Dawn. I love the storyline of Horizon Zero Dawn, and I wish I had known what the DLC was about so that I could have tied it into the main storyline better than I did. It feels like it's not a great DLC. I mean, it's fun. I'm not saying it's not fun. I enjoyed it. It's got a good storyline. It's got some cool new features. But the problem is that it's pre-end of the previous game DLC that adds to the storyline, but not in a way that would have made it more meaningful. And so while I did thoroughly enjoy what I've done so far, well, okay, let's be honest. I'm pretty irritated by the giant bears that I am struggling to get past. This is weird. Usually there's a... Usually there's a path. Oh, there's the path. And so I guess the spoiler part would be that if you've seen or played Horizon Zero Dawn at all, then you know that it's a post-apocalyptic game. I mean, you could tell that from the trailer with robots, and then it turns out that an AI is in charge of everything, and parts of the AI got corrupted, and so you are basically fighting back against some of the sub-routine AIs. Oh, jeez. And so the DLC is about another AI that has been corrupted by one of the subroutines. And so it'd been really cool if that had been tied into the main game. I mean, it's not like it didn't say this is a quest for level 30s. Right. It's not like it didn't tell me that that quest was available. It's just that it doesn't feel like it's part of the rest of the game like it should. And it would have been way cooler had that just been part of the main game. Because it's one of the groups that you interact with a tiny bit, and so it would have been cool to, you know, interact with them a bit more. And I felt like I ate one of these. I did. Why is my health not going up? No? What if I got going here? Is it need a band-aid? I need salve, right? Nope, I've treated my abrasion. Okay. So I haven't finished with that yet. I'm struggling to kill these giant bear robots. guess that's good stuff too. And so that's a bit of work that's happening yet in my Horizon Zero Dawn. And then of course, I should have been working on other things. Is that a buzzard? Most certainly was a buzzard. Ah yes, dogs on the roof. Not just a dog. There's a wolf on the roof. There's an indestructible wolf on the roof. Not anymore. Bye-bye, dog. So this week, as I talked about, I have gotten to the point where I am going to be running a D&D campaign. I got enough stuff done that I feel like I can start it. And so I have been working on the last 2 days. I've worked on it a bit before that, but I finished my notes on Sunday, and then I've been trying to get all of that information loaded into hungry again? All that information loaded into the platform that we're going to be playing on, which is Roll20. I have to say, this Roll20 stuff is very GitHubby. So here's this thing. Sometimes I want to use something and it seems very, very cool. And you'll go to use it, and then you'll find out, sure, it can do cool things, but no one has put the effort in to give it a good UI or make it user-friendly. And so everything is like super complicated commands, and like one place it'll do the thing that would make the other place work really easy, but then they're not there on the other place, and just stuff that makes zero sense. Like, you can load your stuff into the system. Obviously, you have to be able to load your stuff into the system. And then, once your stuff is loaded, it's all just there. And so if you want to put it into folders, you have to create a folder. Makes perfect sense. And some of the control of the system is done by dragging the things you put into the system to other places. But you know what doesn't work? Is dragging what you put into the system into that new folder you built. Like, why do I drag it from the list of assets onto the playing area and that works, but I can't drag from the list of assets into a folder that I just created in the list of assets? So that's weird to me. Other things that make no sense. When you okay, this is bizarre. So part of the thing that makes that game easier to use is that or that platform is that it does a lot of like the rolling and stuff for you, so you don't have to be responsible. Ooh, we may be ready to take a trip back. I've got so much stuff on me here. Yep, I'm gonna have to head back. Well, it's a good thing we got our little mini bike here. So you would think that it would be super simple to drag and drop bad guys onto the playing fields and have them linked to the information that lets you just roll the bad guys, roll their attacks and stuff. No, no. Why would you think it would be easy like that? No. So first you have to go and you have to upload the image that you're going to use for your guy. Tokens, they're called. So I upload my token. And then, once my token's in place, well, you don't have to do the token first, but you have to do a token. And then you have to create a character sheet for it, which makes sense to me. I mean, you can't have the information if you don't put the information in, right? And so you have to create that character sheet. And then once you create that character sheet, and then you put your token on the screen, then and only then can you link the token to the character sheet. I don't have a problem with any of that. All of that makes sense to me. My problem is if I drag a token onto the playfield, why can't I create a character sheet from that token? Why do I have to go to a separate menu to create that, even though a shift double left click opens the character sheet? If there is no character sheet, it doesn't open anything. It doesn't even attempt to create a character sheet for you. And it just seems strange. Another thing that I came across that was just oddly clunky today was it's got a spot to put in tables that you roll. And that is not even, I just gave myself juice, but on my plan was to give the bike juice. And so I put in a table. Well, when you click on the roll table, there's a thing that says allow players to roll. Now I don't want players to roll my DMing tables. But you know what? There's not an easy way to stop it from showing the characters what I rolled. I don't want them to see what I rolled on those tables. Makes no sense. Makes no sense. It's got such a weird and clunky interface. I just don't understand. Parts of it are okay. Parts of it are just super clunky. And I was looking through there, and like one of the things, it's basically a shared image editor with some other cool features to help you play D&D. And so it's really nice to have like maps, and then everybody can see the maps, and then you can draw the maps and stuff like that. And so that's really helpful. And so, it'd be really, really helpful in a situation like that is if everybody can see the map and everybody can roll or write on the map. Then wouldn't it be cool if you could just leave that map open for the people to look at while you're on the other more detailed maps? Makes sense to me. Nope, not a feature. Somebody suggested it like 2 years ago, and then they said, we're sorry, but your feature did not get 10 votes. So it's not going to be like someone went in and looked at it. Your feature did not get 10 votes, so we're not going to send that out to the suggestion. Like, what do you mean? It's obviously a good idea. can't just take some initiative and be like, oh yeah, no, that's a good idea. I'm going to add that to the list of things to look into. We're sorry. 10 people didn't look at this and upvote it, so we're just never going to have that ability in our system. Because you know, this campaign is a bit of a um, wilderness crawler, and there's been a huge my brain will kick in here in a second. There has been a huge, I don't know what was there, a huge disaster that has wiped out like all the map. And so what was there is no longer there. And so the only way they're going to find it is if someone tells them where it's at, or if they see a map. It's not someplace they've been before. There's a map that shows where things used to be. And so what I did was I went and I put the map in, and then I covered over the map so that they could only see the one thing that they're allowed to see from the map, which is the center town where they're going to start, basically. And everything else is covered in mud and slush and, you know, like all the trees have been knocked down and stuff like that. And so I thought that was cool. And then I'm like, oh, well, we'll just leave this map up, and then they can make their notations, and I can delete the covers so they can see what's under there and stuff like that. I'm like, nope, can't even leave that up. So they're gonna have to let me know when they want to draw on the map. Which I think is a little crazy. Just a little bit crazy that that's not something that's available. But yes, it's been a lot of work, honestly, getting all that stuff loaded in. Our DM buys pre-made modules, so he doesn't have to do all this work. But they don't have the game that I wanted to play, so I have to go in and. Wow, I never had rifle parts before. So I have to go in and do it myself, which is fine. I don't have a problem doing it. It's not that big a deal, to be honest. Just work, like, you know, I have to type in every piece of detail about the creatures that aren't from the actual game, because there's creatures that are unique to this campaign, or you run into like NPCs, and so the NPCs don't have stat blocks in the monster manual, you know, that kind of thing. And so I've been busy typing all that stuff up. But you go down this ladder, I don't know. I'm so afraid he's just gonna fall all the way to the bottom, but he won't go down the ladder while I'm facing the ladder, and it makes me nervous. Alright, let's get back out to that other 10, and I can take a look some more to see about trying to find some steel. Or, you know, a book on crucible building or something along those lines. Go up some levels, something. But yeah, so it looks like it's going to be cool now that I've read through 4 of the 6 chapters now. Chapter 5 and Chapter 6 are about specific dungeons, and so I have not gone through those last 2 dungeons yet. But I have the first dungeon down. No, I don't. I have the first floor of the first dungeon down. I just don't think that they will get that far on the first night, because there's just a lot of stuff, and so I will have to put the second dungeon floor in. But I did get all of the creatures for random encounters loaded in, tokens for them, and their information associated with those tokens. And I got the town map in. I got the area map in. And I got 3 of the 4 characters tokens in, because the 4th character still has not told me what he wants to play. My DM, which, our normal DM, is can't decide what he wants to play. And it's not like I didn't tell him 2 weeks ago I wanted to do this. And we agreed on it. And we rolled for stats last week. So it's been a while, and he still doesn't have his second character chosen. And so he was asking me the shady questions today. Honestly, I kind of wanted to tell him go ahead, but I also want to play closer to the rules than we normally play. Not completely within the rules, but closer. You know what? I want to move this down. Speaking of closer. Hey. Why you guys just napping? Alright, this seems like a box you might get some steel in, maybe. Nope. Sledgehammer and another bicycle chassis. I get some iron out of that. Don't think I'm gonna get any steel down in here, so I'm gonna continue on my way. I just want to look at garages for the most part. Man, is it getting nighttime again already? Where's my bike? But yeah, he was sending me the shady messages. So we have a D&D chat for our D&D game in Discord, and then he asked me some questions in that, but then he switched to private channel to start asking me questions about what was actually going to be in the campaign. Is this a high magic dungeon or a high magic campaign or a low magic campaign? Which don't mean what he thinks they mean. This might be a spot. This might be a spot, though, where I better put down a bedroll. So a low magic campaign means that there's not a lot of magic in the game. You can play a no magic D&D game. I mean, it's a very flexible system, and so you could play with no magic at all. There's enough skills. There's enough skills in the game that you could play with 0 magic, and so you could you could play like a more realistic medieval fantasy kind of thing. Not fantasy, but medieval historical fiction kind of thing. Um, that's a low magic or a no magic setting. And then high magic means, spells and dragons and wizards and stuff like that. What he meant, I'm sure, was, is this going to be a low magic item campaign or a high magic item campaign? And I base that off of his next question was, how hard is it going to be for me to get magic scrolls? And the answer is very easy. The book has a magic scroll seller in the only town. And he has several spells available for sale. Now, I don't know if that increases once we get to the next sections of the book, because we might move out of this valley. I don't know. I don't know what happens in the next 3 books, because I have not read them. I've only been reading the first book, because this is a big campaign split into 4 books. And the outcome of book 1 are supposed to affect book 2. Hopefully this isn't like a Mass Effect kind of thing, where it doesn't matter what happens in the first book, the exact same thing is going to turn out no matter what. But it's usually more like, if this person isn't available, then these things can't happen. And so you have to go on to other things. But yeah, so I don't even know why he asked me that, because he didn't even pick Wizard as the thing that he wants to play. After I told him that, yes, there are a limited number of scrolls available. So then he says he can't decide if he wants to play... No, I think that was when he said he couldn't decide if he wanted to play a wizard or a druid. Now the difference is that a wizard learns their spells, and a druid's abilities are called spells, but they're like shaping the natural forces. And so wizards have to find scrolls or spell books to get their new spells. Well, that's not true. They get 2 spells per level that they can choose from, which is all they're ever supposed to get. I don't mean it that way. What I mean is, a wizard... Oh, you're a new model I haven't seen before, I don't think. A wizard... What I've read is that a wizard getting spells is like another character getting special items. Like a healing potion, right? Or a magic sword is comparable. Oh, did you see that purple? Look at that purple. Oh, it's the open sign. Okay. I was like, what is that purple shining through that? But it's not. It's a reflection. Where's the entrance to this building? So, oh man, we need to quit here. Yeah, it's, so wizard getting a spell is like a fighter getting a magic sword. But, and I have had this argument with my DM, he doesn't believe that's the case. He believes that a wizard should get all the spells. Not that, I'm saying it's wrong to want all the spells, but him and I had a very lengthy argument about this subject. And that he feels that the wizard is hobbled by the fact that they don't have access to all the spells in the spell list. But that is simply not how I have read the people who write Wizards of the Coast and listen to them talk about spell lists for wizards. They're not supposed to have access to all the spells. They're supposed to find them and get them like magic items. Now, on the other side of that, though, I do dislike how often spellbooks drop in Wizards of the Coast adventures, because it's a ridiculous number of times where things that would give wizards new spells drop. Like, we've gone through almost this entire... Where are we on? We're on level 7 of this dungeon now, and I don't think we've gotten more than a single magic weapon to drop, but almost every floor has had new lists of spells and spell scrolls and just all this stuff that we can't even use because none of us are the class for it. Tons and tons of spell scrolls, which also have a weirdly clunky mechanic behind them that I think might be misunderstood. There's some this will be the last thing and then I'll go, but there's some, to me, there's some very strong confusion between how the rules are written and I'm going to mark this on my map. It's not even a good thing for it. How about an X? Working chemistry station. And spell scrolls are one of the things that I feel are worded horribly. Sneak attacks and spell scrolls are probably my two biggest pet peeves with the way the rules are written in D&D. Because they don't make sense. Neither of them make sense. There aren't rules for sneak attacks, and basically all they say is that there's no such thing as a sneak attack round like there used to be. But they don't explain how to run sneak attacks, ambushes, whatever you want to call them. And there are rules that take advantage of sneak attacks, but no rules on how to actually run a sneak attack. And so I don't like the way our DM does it. I don't think it's correct from what they've said, but there aren't actual rules on how to run it. And the other one I don't like at all is spell scrolls. So in my mind, a spell scroll, right? You take the scroll, you read the spell, and the spell casts. So apparently some spell scrolls work that way, and other spell scrolls are require a wizard to operate or whatever. But there's two different kinds of spell scrolls in the game, but there's no writing in the loot on which is which. And so there's the spell scroll that you use like a magic item where you read it and the spell's cast. And then there's the spell scroll that requires the class who can cast the spell to use the spell scroll. And so you get a lot of spell scrolls as rewards in these adventures, but they don't say what kind of spell scroll they are. And so I'm really at a loss for how that stuff is supposed to work. Because they're not two different kinds of items. It's not like they're not listed as like scroll of the spell, magic missile versus a magic missile spell scroll, right? They're not worded that way. They're both a spell scroll of magic missile, but you don't know which is one that you can just read and cast, and which one is the kind that only someone who can cast magic missile can cast. Because one requires the ability, and the other is a magic item that gets used up once it's used. So it's a weird, horrible clunkiness that shouldn't be. There's a few others, but those are the two off the top of my head. And so it's why there's so much arguing over the rules in D&D, is because the rules are written in ways that make them confusing. And it calls back to that clunkiness I was talking about with Roll20. The whole D&D system is a bit clunky. Really versatile, which is probably some of the clunkiness is because they can't get too specific because they don't want to run the game for you. But on the other hand, it is the rule book. And so, they do need to let you know how it's supposed to work. Wow, 1,000, really? What if I go in through here? Yep, a lot less than 1,000. Yep, I didn't feel like playing with you. All right, well, with that, I'm going to... Well, let's check this. Let's check this one crate here. See if there's... Steel? Motion sensors. Not steel. And we'll check this box, and then we'll call it. Steel. Nope. Hammer schematic. All right, with that, be bearing the small things, lean in the light, and I will talk to you later.